computer. Okay, great. So yeah. Hello everybody and welcome back to a new Reader's Warehouse Recommends. I'm Thomas from Reader's Warehouse, and normally we are live at 12 o'clock on a Monday to talk about books, but today we have a special recorded session while I'm away. Today we're talking about children's titles, and the next week we'll be back live talking about adult titles. How it is going to work is we're going to do 3 rounds of book recommendations, and in each round, one of these wonderful people who have joined me today will be telling us about a book. Joining us today, we have Marianne from Penguin Random House, South Africa, and we have Marianne van Lochenberg from Pan Macmillan, South Africa. So thank you both for joining us today. Each of the titles mentioned today, we're going to list in the comment section of this video, the title, author, and link to our website. And then at the end of today, we'll also have a blog post up with all the titles mentioned on our website, www.readerswarehouse.co.za, and you can check all the titles there as well. And then I'll just be highlighting our top 5 bestsellers as well for children's books for the past 2 weeks. So we're going to start with round 1. So Marianne, over to you for your first title.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay, the first one I'm doing, we're so super excited about to have a new Rick Riordan. Obviously, in Sun and the Star, we are joined by the most popular characters from the world of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, discover what it takes to be a hero. This is the thrilling standalone adventure featuring Nico and Will, 2 characters from the series. And we have Nico, obviously being the son of Hades. He's pretty familiar with the realms of death. So when he gets this very desperate voice starts plaguing him in his dreams, he's convinced that it's coming from none other than the underworld, and it belongs to an old friend of his who is now a reformed titan called Bob. Then he has an ominous prophecy which leaves him in no doubt. Bob needs help, and Nico must be the one to rescue him. So of course Nico's boyfriend, who's Will, he's the son of Apollo, and he insists that he's going to join this quest too. But can Will even survive in the darkest part of the world, being the god of light? And what does the prophecy mean when it says that Nico will have to leave something behind, something of equal value behind when he goes and saves his friend? So we're very, very excited. This came out last week. Sales are really looking good already. And also very exciting is that we will have a new Percy Jackson title later in November, I think.
So, yeah, yes, and when I saw this online originally, I told Marianne it is such a chunky book. Like it looks chunkier than the normal Rick Riordan, and readers love. This is full of action, full of adventure. All the classic, like what you expect from Rick Riordan. So I know the readers are gonna love reading this as well.
Most definitely, yes.
Thanks so much. And I think it's also book 1 in a new series, hopefully. So it'll be maybe a trilogy or so. Yeah.
Yeah, might be.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Marianne.
Okay.
Okay, Marianne, over to you for your first title. You'll also have to unmute yourself when you're ready. Yeah.
Okay. I'm on myself. Okay, so let me see my screen. Okay, I'm very excited to tell you about a new series for middle grade, written by a new author, and children's literature, new voice, Pari Thompson, and this is called The Green Wild, and it's the first book in a magical eco fantasy series for young readers, where you will meet Daisy Thistledown and her mother. And Daisy has to go to boarding school while her mom is on a secret mission. But something terrible then happened, and Daisy has to go and find her mom. She enters a door through Kew Gardens, and she finds herself in a new world called a new magical green world where nature comes alive. So, with the help of a boy who can talk to animals and a very adventurous and cunning cat, she has to be very brave to help save her mom. So, but you don't know whether she doesn't know whether she actually has the strength to go through this journey. But obviously she does. And at the heart of the book is the message also of how nature is actually there for us. And it's also a message of us how having to protect nature. And there is going to be 3 books in the series. So it's quite, I want to show you some of the maps inside the book as well, so that you can see the world and some black and white line illustrations. Yeah, that's the end. We'll have some bookmarks also and some standees, so there will be beautiful displays in all the Reader's Warehouse stores. So look out for it.
Thanks, Marianne. And then Marianne, and then we're in the age group that say it's like 10 plus, so for this same
Yeah, it's 10 plus, it's middle grade, yeah, but also it's not written in a very intricate way. So for confident 9 plus 9, you should also be fine. You're a confident reader, yeah.
Yeah, and what's great exciting is that the illustrator was the illustrator of the Venture on Train. So if your children read something like that, that type of
Eliza
series,
Paganelli, yes.
yeah, then you can definitely look exciting to check this one out as well. So yeah, and exciting. It's book 1 in a new series of 3, which also is great.
Yeah, and it is for readers of Nevermore, if I can say that.
Okay, yeah. I guess it's almost like if your children traveled into a magical world, going to visit Kirstenbosch Gardens or something like that. That's Kew
Yeah,
Gardens.
you can compare it to that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. All right, thank you so much for the first title. All right, let me just
Okay.
share my screen quickly. So I'm just going to talk quickly about a title. I thought I'd start with I'm going to talk about 2 picture flats. This is the first one. It's called Mr. Leopard's Bookshop. And so this is from a debut author called Alexa Brown, and the illustrator has worked before called Julia Christian. And this story follows a little girl called Sophie who is looking to buy the perfect present for her pug. It's a dog's birthday tomorrow, and she needs to find the perfect present. She goes with her mom shopping, and she discovers this bookshop. And inside this bookshop, she meets Mr. Leopard, who is the bookshop owner. And he keeps giving her lots and lots of different book options, but she can't think or doesn't believe or doesn't think any of them are appropriate for her pug's birthday present. And then what happens is that the Mr. Leopard literally pulls a curtain across at the bookshop, and then she discovers that all the books are being illustrated and written by different animals, and which just sounds really, really amazing. And of course, Sophie is completely stunned, and there's a nice little wording you can read, get a sense of what the text is like. It says here, Mr. Leopard was beaming. Forget human tales. Our writers are zebras and lions and snails. Our artists are penguins and parrots, you see. Mr. Leopard was literally trembling with glee. And so it's got that whole rhyming text. And then, of course, does Sophie find the perfect present? And unexpectedly, some different guests that she wasn't planning to come to her dog's birthday do arrive the next day as well. So yeah, this is just a great little book for, I'd say, 3 to 6-year-olds. Great for story time. This is also rated as one of the great books to read aloud. So it's great for classroom reads to your class. So yeah, that was my first title. It's available at the moment from Mr. Leopard's Bookshop. Okay, all right, Marianne, over to you for your second title.
Thanks very much. All right, we're going to follow on with a novel for teens. Oh no, this is 9 to 12. Sorry, I forgot where I was for a second. So fantastic new book 1 in a fantastic new series from Patterson. And this is the story of Minerva Keane. So she doesn't really start out being a detective. Can you just give me 1 second? Sorry, my presentation is just playing up here for a second. 1 second, sorry. Oh, you can see my screen, can't you? Because it's playing up on my side.
Oh no, we can see it. We can see it.
You can see it. Okay, yeah. Perfect. That's fine. All right. So she doesn't start out being a detective, But somehow the other residents of her apartment building start dying or falling unconscious right when she can see them. So suddenly she repurposes her school debate club and hurtles into this investigation along with a seriously accident-prone little brother who's 11. She's got a smart, highly anxious classmate called Santos, and a very savvy but tolerant police detective struggling along in her wake. So it's really a typically fast-paced, quite twisty caper made up of quite short chapters laced with frights, flights, and misadventures. Enough burping and farting to put a stockyard to shame. So really cool. So the readers are hoping to solve the mystery ahead of the sleuths, but you won't get much help from the few very unhelpful clues and unlikely suspects that emerge. She's got the talents for being in the right place at the right time and asking the right questions that lead to a whole break in the case. So really, really fun new character. And it's great that he's written a series with a girl lead character as well.
It's almost like Max Einstein, but instead of science, it's now like a detective club,
exactly.
which is quite exciting.
Pretty much, yeah, that's rather cool.
It's almost like a modern Nancy Drew, but with with boyish like jokes in it as well.
Very much so, yes.
Okay, wonderful. And would that also be like 9+? If it was for middle?
So, yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
Okay, wonderful, great. Thanks so much, Marianne. Yeah. All right, Marianne, over to you for your second title.
Okay, next. So we've got two new titles by Terry Denton, who's the illustrator of the Treehouse series, which we all know. So these are holiday and silly books. So it's all for everyone who has load shedding and of screen time. It's over 300 pages of quizzes and mazes and coloring in and drawing to help kids keep busy during the holidays. And the silly book is very silly. It's where the silly me wants to meet the silly you. So I'll show you some of the insights just to give you a little bit of an idea. So very entertaining. Color yourself in. And if you're the octopus in a school play, what would you look like? And what would your best friend look like if he was a dragon? You have to draw his costume. You're coloring in people are your friends, and also you draw yourself and you color yourself in. That's just a few examples of this activity book.
Yeah, those look great. I mean, that's perfect for school holidays now as well. If you're traveling or
if you're traveling, everything is on paper. There's mazes, there's jokes, there's everything that they actually are.
Yeah, and like you said, for load shedding, or if you're staying at home one day, for school holidays, this is like something that can, entertain the kids for, a couple of hours. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Marianne. Okay, my second title is actually one of your titles. I also wanted to talk about the new Judah Johnson that's coming out this week. So basically, this is a new picture flat from Judah Johnson. And again, it's the second book she's illustrated with Catherine Rayner. Catherine Rayner, award-winning illustrator. Her books, if you look at her books, you can almost spot it that it's her illustrations. She's so well at drawing animals and wildlife animals. And this is the second title they've done with a bird. The first one was a huge sell in South Africa called The Go Away Bird, which was the grey lory. And now the new book that's coming out this week, the bower bird. This is to do with an Australian bird called the bower. And so what this bird does is to get a mate, they make these bowers, what they call, it's not their nest, but it's basically a bower which is made out of twigs, and then they add different things inside. Like in this picture on the cover, he's got a little purple flower, and to attract female bowers, they basically decorate these bowers with different items. And then I just took these pictures online of what they look like in Australia. And so they create these things. Their normal nests are much higher up in the trees, but this is just to attract female. And then in the story, it basically follows the little bird called Bert, and he's basically filling his bower to try and get one specific bird to show interest in him. And does he get it? Does he get it at the end? You have to read the book to find out. What's great with the Go Away Bird, I know when I read it with my niece, is that in the book, the bird keeps saying, go away, go away, go away. And eventually, my nieces would then say that when I started saying it, they started saying it because of the repetition. And in this book, this very similar. As Bert keeps adding things into his bower, they keep repeating them as it grows and grows and grows, which is quite fun. So there is that whole repetition in the book, which is part of like Julia Danson's rhyming. So it's very exciting to have this book. Hopefully there'll be more birds from around the world maybe featured eventually with this duo working together. But yeah, always wonderful to have a new Julia Danson. So the Bower Bird will be out in our stores this week. So that is my second title, also for ages 3 to 6. Okay, that's it. So we're on to the final round. So Marianne, over to you for your final book.
Thank you very much. So my last title, this is for teens. This is the first move. Great for chess. Chess has become very popular again since Book Talk and all of those kind of things. So first move is a really, really sweet story about Juliet. So Juliet is a girl with arthritis. So she believes that girls like her don't actually get their own love stories. For this reason, she kind of exists at the edges of her friends' social lives. And she doesn't go to parties. She'd rather play online chess. And she plays under a pseudonym with strangers from around the world, because there she isn't just the girl with crutches. And then you get Ronan. Ronan's the new kid at school. He's good looking, he's smart, a bit of a bad boy, and he's plagued over what happened to his brother. So chess life for him is an escape, because there he isn't just the boy with the brother. And of course, Juliet thinks that Ronan thinks that someone like Ronan would never be interested in someone like her. And she says she wouldn't even want him to like her anyway, because he's always acts like he's cooler than everyone else. Whereas Ronan thinks that life is already too complicated for dating, and he just wants to keep his head down at school and kind of get done with it. But little do they know that they've already discovered each other online, and they have more in common than you think. So really, really sweet story about first love, but also about chess. So it's a lot more than that as well. And I do love that cover.
Yeah, the cover's great, and it's nice to have that like inclusivity in it. Like you don't always see like people with like with a disability on the cover, so that's really great. And also it sounds like it's a perfect book now again that can be turned into a film, very easily.
Absolutely, most definitely.
Perfect, great. Thanks so much, Marianne. Okay, Marianne, over to you for your final book.
Okay. Okay, so my final book is also a book for young adults, 16 plus, and it's a very serious book. It's not it's Sarah Barnard's. I think it's a 6th or 7th book already, but it's the first book that will be published by Walker Books. She is known for Quiet Kind of Thunder, It's Quite Perfect, Beautiful Broken Things. That was the book that actually put her on the map. This is something completely new. It is a story of suicide, 2 sisters. One sister was a superstar. She was playing in a band, and she fell into a really big depression because she could not stand all the attention and all the that the media made of her. And then she commits suicide. She just lost her life. So then the story is told from her younger sister, Emmy, from her perspective, she didn't lose a superstar, she lost her sister. And she did not want to erase her sister's memory. So Sarah Barnard said that she wrote this book basically because she wants teenagers to speak about certain serious matters like depression and like suicide, because she thought there's not really enough said about the seriousness of what is actually going on and how the media can actually portray a person and how that affects their mental health. So it's very much of you're going to cry. You have to have lots of tissues with you when you read this. But I think it's really a good example of a book that you can also use in a classroom or in a book club to talk about certain issues and to find out how different people are experiencing such serious matters.
The beginning of it reminds me a bit about the book you guys have called The Skies Everywhere, also about
The
two
skies
sisters.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So I think if you like that book or you know of that book, then this
yeah.
is something you could, but also it sounds, yeah.
I would, it's the same comparison. It's written in a very subtle and very sensitive way. I can show you
Oh, wow.
guys maybe just some of the, so there's some text. It's a little bit experimental in terms of the way that it's laid out. It's a very special book. I would really recommend it for anyone who wants to read something that you can think about and talk about and also make a difference. That will make a difference in your life.
Yeah, it sounds like you're gonna have tissues with that book, but also it might be a nice one to buddy read with somebody, like
It's
if you
a
have a
buddy
best
read.
friend, yeah,
Yes,
you could read
yes,
it and then share, what your thoughts are on it as you go along.
yeah, no, absolutely. And there will be some book club activity, not activities, but questions. Walker is working on a book club recommended questions sheet as well, which I'll share with you when you receive it from it.
Okay, wonderful.
Is this a good one to kind of recommend for high school set works, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely think so. Well, it also would depend on the open-mindedness of the school.
Yeah,
But
of
there's
course.
definitely but I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, or even if there was a school library book club or something like that, you could
School
discuss
library
it.
book
Yeah,
club, yeah,
yeah, because I've
definitely.
seen those
Yeah,
before.
discussion guides and yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
great. Thanks so much, Marianne, for that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly
Thank
share
you.
my last titles. Because the school holidays coming up, what I was just going to highlight was we just got in recently some new dot-to-dot books for
Oh,
children.
nice.
So yeah, so these are basically following the alphabet to draw a picture and then color it in, or to do numbers, learning 1 to 100 or 1 to 50. Or 1 to 25, depending on we have different like age groups for these books. So these are also perfect for hand-eye coordination. We get asked for dot-to-dot books pretty often, and so we've been able to get quite a range of about 12 titles. So perfect for holiday time. If you want to keep your children busy during a certain period of time, these are great to pull out. They're all soft cover. And so, yeah, we've got that range. And then I also wanted to mention what Marianne had mentioned is that they released the cover this week of the new Percy Jackson book, The Chalice of the Gods. Very exciting for November release. When we're doing school sales this year, the children are already talking and asking about this book. I think it's really exciting that, we're going back to what Rick Riordan, started his career on with Percy Jackson. It was originally 5 books, but now a 6th book is coming out. And just to say, we have got this book on pre-order now on our website. So if you want to pre-order it already and then have it be one of the first to read it in November, yeah, we'll have it in November. So you can pre-order it now on our website. Okay, so that is it for the 3 rounds. I just want to quickly just share our top 5 bestsellers at the moment at Reader's Warehouse. So number 5 for the past 2 weeks is the new Zadie Song picture book about a mermaid, a local story by Zandile Nlovu from Parabalance. So it's really exciting to have this book. It's beautiful picture illustrations, inside color illustrations, and yeah, it was a previous Reader's Warehouse recommends as well. Number 4 is this Craft and Snuggle My Pet Unicorn. You basically get this plush toy and then the book and all the crafts to create outfits for your little unicorn pet. Number 3 is the latest David Williams title, Robo-Dog. Number 2 is the latest Dogman book, 20,000 Fleas Under the Sea, and still number 1 at the moment is still Diary of a Wimpy Kid, still selling extremely well. Still one of our best-selling series, and yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dipper Overload is our latest, still our number 1 at the moment.
So it's unbelievable that it's still top selling.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and still the Wimpy Kid books are still discovering new readers. I can see all the the series, selling, all the time. So people, I definitely think it's helping for reluctant readers, parents not sure what to get their children who are struggling to read. That's still one of those series that, a go-to series, I think, for families and our booksellers. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes, and the new Wimpy Kid, of course, will come out at the end of October this year.
Yeah, very excited as well. Okay, so that is it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the special pre-recorded session. As I said, we'll be back next week with a new live one on adult titles. But until then, we hope you found some amazing titles to get your children and your young readers for the school holidays. And happy reading this week, and we'll be back next time. Thanks, everyone. Keep well. Bye-bye.